welcome back. Well, last time, in my last video, I took apart my bike, got all the parts over there behind me, got sick of the paint job, been looking at it too long, thought, time for new paint. So I've kind of got an idea in my head what I want to do. So it's one of those paint jobs where I'll kind of wing it. I've got a few different elements I want to throw in. A little bit of colour, a little bit of artwork. Might do the artwork in sort of black and white. So there's that. I want to get the old girl there looking a bit better than she does currently. But since then, I've actually got my son's ute to fix. He called me up the other night on his way home and said he locked up, and it was right on a corner. He was doing about 100 k's. He's very lucky. He spun out and ended up in a ditch, and I went out there and we tried to move the ute, but it wasn't going to go anywhere, and it was pretty hard to get a tow truck that time of night. We managed to get one guy before he was just about to hop in bed, but it cost us. But you know, I didn't want to leave his ute on the side of the road where, you know, it would have been vandalised and smashed and bits stolen off it. So we managed to get it home, and so that's where we're at. There's going to be another video, probably in a couple of parts, as we're working on my son's ute. But basically, it's a bit of a strange thing. I haven't seen it before, but the hub actually snapped. The wheel snapped right off, and it threw it into a spin, and it went off the road. So I'm guessing probably previous owners probably used to do burnouts in it, and it probably had a hairline fracture, and it was just the time for it to give out. But anyway, there's a little bit of damage on the ute. So ironically, I had a spare front that will basically fit his ute, so I'm going to have to prep that up, do minor repairs on it, and probably get a set of headlights, and you know, I'll show you the ute in a second. So I've got to get that fixed, hopefully within a month, you know, pending getting parts and having the money to get the parts to fix it. So I'll do it in a couple of stages. And also today, as you can see behind me, I've got all the parts there. I've marked them up, and I want to start sanding those down and maybe mix up some paint. I've been a little bit slow making my next video because purely for the reason of the weather. It's hot, and a shed like this, it's just all metal, so it's like standing in an oven. When it gets really hot, it's too hot to mix paint. Paint just dries too quick and causes problems. So I've either got to do it in the morning or when it's not as hot. So I'll take you out, show you the ute, and then we're going to start sanding the front bumper down. I'll get my son to do that and do some repairs on that, and I'll start on these. So I've got the ute here in the shed. This is where we had it dropped. I pushed the Datsun back in the background. If it rains, I'm going to have to cover the Datsun with plastic because it's missing the Targa top seals. But the ute, as you can see, was very lucky considering he was travelling at 100 k's when it spun out on the corner and just missed trees. It did minor damage in the front, took the bumper off, and as the bumper came up, it's separated. I snapped the clips, and that's why the headlight's on a bit of a funny angle. So we're going to have to replace these headlights. And I think underneath the little cross member is slightly bent back, but I'm going to hook a chain, and once she's going, and reverse it and pull that out, and just get it on the hoist and check what lines or any other damage there might be underneath. So front bumper was the main casualty, but as you can see by the funny angle and the wheel over there, it basically she snapped clean off. And the old brake caliper there, she's snapped off in the process. So because she's sort of bottomed out a bit as it spun around when in the ditch, I've got to see underneath, like the diff and the trans, if there's any damage anywhere under there. But the disc brakes are still connected. The wheel's still inflated, but it's scratched the hell out of the rim. So once we clean it up and take the studs out, I'll give it a bit of a sand back, get all the grooves out, and I'll have a go at trying to mix a little bit of this this colour, and see if I can, it doesn't have to be a perfect match, but see if I can at least just paint the rim and get rid of all the scratches. And that's the front bumper that tore off. But if you actually look underneath, it's all pretty much smashed in, and there's some rips in the plastic. It's buggered. It's just rubbish. So the other bumper, I'll go and grab it, and I'll do a mock-up to show you what that's going to look like. So all in all, number one, he was very lucky to sort of hop out and walk away, because he was pretty close to trees. And number two, he's lucky the damage on this wasn't a lot worse. There's a bit of a separation here on the guard as the bumper pulled out, and if you look at the little bolt in there, you can see the bit, the bit where there's no paint, where the guard's actually separated back. So I've got to undo all the bolts and just basically push the guard back in and re-bolt it, but it's not buckled or bent, so it fared pretty well. In the dark I thought it was scratched to hell, but on further inspection it was mainly just dirt. So minor repairs and we'll have it back on the road, and I'll just go and grab the other bumper and we'll do a mock-up. Okay, so there's the spare bumper I had, the red one. It's a bit more stylish looking than the other one, than the standard bumper. So this is just sitting there, just a mock-up at the moment. I thought it was plastic, it's actually fiberglass, which is a bit more of an advantage, because I'd like to repair it using like a fiberglass body filler. So as you can see, there's right there's a hole. It was like that when I got it, and there's a rough bit on the bottom corner which I can fix, and I've just got to look where the clips in here are and try and make something to fit in there. But I'm sure I'll work something out, and it doesn't have to be a show car finish, as long as it's tidy. Once we get it all done, the idea is we'll get the paint code, if this is the original paint, and we'll match the bumper and probably respray the bonnet, because as you can see it's got peeling bits there, so we might as well just sand the whole bonnet back. And if we paint that and the bumper to match, it'll you won't get a difference between shade. The whole thing will look like it's matching, and maybe even throw a little bit of paint on the top of the guards just to blend it in. So that's where we're at. We've got to sand this back today, the red bumper, and I'll get a little bit of body filler and I'll start doing the repairs. But I think she's going to look pretty cool when she's done. And the towing service pretty much left us broke. It was pretty expensive, but next pay think what we'll do is we'll see if we can go to the wreckers, grab a couple of hubs off another ute, fit those, and what I want to do is jack this thing off the floor and see what else might be a casualty of the crash. Then we can make a shopping list and we can start pulling bits off. The only other thing is, you can see by the headlights, the original ones have this little dip here, whereas the bumper doesn't. That's straight. So what I've got to do is, this headlight here is damaged and needs replacing anyway, so why not just buy a pair of the correct headlights to match the bumper, and we'll keep the old ones for the bulbs. We can keep them as spares anyway. I mean, my ute has the same headlights, so I could probably keep this one here, the good headlight, as a spare for mine. Yeah, it's getting a little bit harder to get bits for these days since Holden shut its door. Since they closed, I mean, I found out the hard way, especially when I did my power steering, trying to get all the metal lines for it, and they've all been discontinued. So I did find a company that supplied brand new parts, which was good. So anyway, I'll get this bumper back off and into the shed, and I'll get my son on the sander and he can put a bit of elbow grease in. We'll see if we can get this thing looking a bit better today. Alright, so it's been sanded. I've got it, I'm holding this together, as you can see, with masking tape. It's had a worn bit there. I'm going to start putting body putty, and we've got all the cracked and chipped and shitty bits, and we're sanded back. Got a little bit of hand sanding to do in there, but I'll get that light out. But ready to start the next phase. Well guys, that's the end of this video. It's only a short one today. I just wanted to show you my repairs I'm doing on my son's ute, and I've already started on the front clip, just doing a little bit of fiberglass. I do need more materials, which is a visit to the paint shop. But I just wanted to clarify something before I go. My channel, obviously it's called Cold Alias, but my business itself, like the airbrushing side, is Alchemy Airbrushing. So when you see a video about my airbrushing, I'm going to put Alchemy Airbrushing in the beginning of the video. Whereas if it's just, for example, like my son's ute, or repairing something, or going somewhere, having an adventure, daily stuff, it'll just be Cold Alias. But anyway, I'll give you progress updates on the ute as we repair it, and there'll also be the videos of my Harley. I'm starting to get a bit of a picture in my head now what I'm going to do. I want it to be really interesting. I want people with gas masks, and I want, flames and all sorts. So I'll take you on the journey with me. But as always, please hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll see you shortly in the next one. Ciao.